Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 4 of A Funny Thing Called Business. This is where 4 business owners around the table with over 30 years collective experience under their belts share the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we all now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. So we have Clare Whalley,
Darren Langley,
Kate Curry,
Pete Morgan.
And so welcome guys. This week we are talking about competitors. So I'm really interested to hear your views on how you handle competitors and just your thoughts around competitors in your industry. So let's start with a nice gentle one, guys. What's your favourite competitor clanger? What have you done wrong? Or perhaps, it's something that a competitor's done to you.
See, I'm really, with me and competitors, there aren't many.
Yeah.
There's only a couple in the local kind of area. So I'm based in the West Midlands, and there's only 2 other people that do what I do.
And they're not called Podcast Pete, are they?
No, they're not. Exactly. So
there's only one.
Yeah.
There's only one.
Thankfully. And so really, any kind of clanger has been with kind of these 2 people, and it's a really odd situation because, and I think it's going to be different from the 3 of you, all 3 of us speak, all 3 of us get on, we take the approach of there's plenty of work to go round.
Yeah.
When I've been too busy, one of them has done work for me. When I couldn't edit something, they edited something for me. Another one has passed me business and I've passed them business because it was kind of, going over the boundary lines geographically of where we were. So I've just, the first thing that came to mind with talking about competitors was one of them she's, wonderful friend. And I was reading her social media and she was like, just really knocking it out of the park on social media. Really good posts, really engaging. And I was lay awake in the middle of the night one night and I noticed she was online as well. So I messaged her and said, yeah, how's all the social media thing going for you? And she went, oh, it's going really, really well. I'm getting loads of clients. And I was immediately a little bit deflated of like, oh, because I do a lot on social media and I'm not getting tons of clients off it. And I went, oh, right, because it doesn't seem to be working as well for me. And she went, well, actually, in truth, maxed out the credit cards right up to the limit on my, my overdraft. It's really not going as well as I would have thought. I've spoken to Charlotte, by the way. Yeah. She knows I'm telling the story. I'm not, kind of. But so that was the competitor thing, and I think that goes back to something when we were talking about Facebook a couple of episodes ago, of people don't necessarily tell the truth.
Yeah, and how lovely that you were able to have that conversation with her, because, that's something I find as a business coach. Lots of my clients tell me, they're watching their competitors and seeing what they're doing. Forget about your competitors, because you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Yeah. But I mean, one story that I wanted to share was one of my competitors got in touch with me. It was probably about 5 years ago now. And she wanted to have a one-to-one with me to find out what my charges were, because she didn't want to be, what was the word? Undercharging or...
She didn't want to be undercut?
She didn't want to be undercutting me. Didn't want to be undercutting me.
What she meant by that was she definitely wants to be undercutting you.
So that was an interesting...
Did you double your prices and say, this is what I'm charging? Good luck, love.
Or just really, really reduce them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, £50 a year is what I charge. Oh, okay, I'm going to start charging £40 a year.
Yeah, how did you, out of interest, how did you respond to her?
I think I gave her a ballpark figure. I can't really remember. I think I just shared with her, it doesn't matter. We're both offering completely different services. And you go with what feels right for you and your business and what you're offering, and I'll stick with.
So you coached her.
It's what I do.
She can't help herself.
And then charged her, obviously, and then invoiced.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Now you know how much I
That's
charge.
so funny. Yeah, I totally coached her.
But actually, have you thought about signing up to one of my packages?
She needed to. Darren, what about you?
Well, not so much a caper, but there's been in web design. It's all a bit. It can be a bit geeky. I mean, I don't like to think of it being geeky, but
Really?
But I'm going to tell you a slightly geeky-ish related web design thing. That there's a bit of code you can put on your website, which tells you the companies that visit your website. It'll just basically cross-reference their IP addresses with a database of company names.
Stalking.
A bit like cyber stalking. It's great. I love it. And but with it, obviously, you can see. The idea is to see businesses that come on your website that you don't get in touch with. You can follow them up, and it's a great way of getting them on board. But obviously, you get a lot of competitors go on your website, and you see when they pop on, and then out of interest, you go and have a look at their website. Turns out they've got the same script on their site, so they see you popping on, and then they come back to your website, and you see them come back again, and then we end up in this infinite loop of looking at each other's
Stalking
website.
ping pong.
I know it is. Yeah.
And do you actually get anything out of that information at all? Do you think?
That you've got your competitors on the run.
Yeah.
But you do see a lot of competitors looking at the website, and you think, oh, okay, that's interesting.
But I'm always interested, particularly with something like web design. What are you getting from that? Because is it going to change how you approach it, or is it just like they've got a fancy name, or what? I don't know.
What, from looking at
their website?
There's loads. You can. I mean, it's kind of see what services they provide and see what they do, who they're doing it for.
Right.
Obviously, not to go and poach their clients or anything like that. Never do that.
You have to say that because we're recording it, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think also though we can put competitors on a pedestal, like you, Pete.
Absolutely.
Well, they're doing brilliantly, but
Well, web design's definitely like that because if you're a good web design company, you'll invest a lot of time in your own website, make it look really nice, and so you go and see some competitor sites and think, God, that site's really good. They must be really. Then they must know what they're doing and be really good, and it does make you kind of undermines you a bit. And then obviously you look at some of their work and it's rubbish. They just spend all their time building their own website.
Some of their work's like 8 bits.
I mean, to be honest with you, in the web design industry, I think I've got lots of good competitors I get on with. Really, it is quite a very competitive industry, but I think we're all very British about it and kind of,
But everybody needs a website, don't they? So
Exactly.
There's plenty of fish in the sea for you to reel in a decent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, every business should have a website, absolutely. And there's plenty of web designers out there.
plug.
Yes, indeed, just so you know. But also, when I'm saying like my competitors, the people I consider to be my competitors are the people who, who like me have been around for a while and we've established ourselves and got client base and so forth. Whereas web design generally as an industry is really competitive because it can be really low entry. You only need a computer and some bit of software and buy some templates and pretend you're a web designer, and no one knows the difference from a client's point of view. So there are a lot of fly-by-night type web designers, and the negative effect on that is it kind of gives the industry a bit of a bad rap, really. So that if I get a lot of clients who call me up and say their web designer's disappeared or they're not answering them or they've gone out of business, and it's really because they've gone into this business because they can do a website, but they can't run a business, and they haven't thought about that side of it, and as such it's gone wrong, and now they've left people in the lurch, sort of thing. So there are the kind of the downsides of competitors, but
I think we can all kind of probably share on that.
People who pretend to be coaches.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's industries that aren't
regulated.
Right, we can't. I was going to say we can't finish all of your sentences today.
The coffee's not working. Kate, moving on. Have you got any competitor clangers? Come on, you must have.
Well,
no offence.
Yeah, probably. I've got a few. I do like Pete's story about how he's how you can see your competitors as being these, how are they doing it so right? They're doing so well for their clients, and all their social media posts and client wins and award wins and all that kind of stuff. And you're just like, I'll be very good at what I do. But and quite often you don't really get to see behind the scenes of your competitors. But there's one...
unless they ask you how much you're charging.
Yeah. Maybe I should go and make some one-to-ones, go and ask some questions. But I had one client that I was pitching for, and he'd already sort of put out this brief to tender for 4 or 5 different businesses, to different agencies, to put their ideas forward. And then he got referred to me. It's like, I must admit, I'm not blown away by any of these ideas, and I'd really like you to have a look at them. And I was like, okay. He said, but I really need to turn it around really quickly. Could you come and see me in a week with some ideas? And I was like, okay, that's great, but I'm actually in Centre Parks all week. How's this going to work? But I managed to sort of pull something together in between going down water slides and things like that. Then turned up for the meeting, and I actually won the work, which was amazing, considering I'd spent most of my time just in
swimming costume
in a whirlpool in a hot tub. And then they did actually share with me some of the things that the other competitors my competitors really had put together, and it was really, really interesting to see. And it's not the sort of thing that you would normally get to see. And I was like, I'm actually quite good. I'm actually quite good. I mean, one of them hadn't even really put together any creative for their proposal. It was just here's some stuff we've done for other people. Have a look at that. So I was like, no, I'd clearly, even though I'd only had that very limited bit of time, really had managed to sort of go above and beyond and pull some great creative together to win the work. So that was a really interesting experience for me.
Excellent. So what do you wish you'd have known when you started out about competitors?
They don't... I was about to say...
You want us to start your sentence?
It's spreading, Claire. Whatever you've got, it's spread now. Because what I was going to say was, don't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to know that they're there and good to know of their existence. But I really try not to pay any attention to them, because, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying to Darren earlier on, whatever they're doing, it doesn't change what I do. It doesn't, seeing how they're getting on doesn't make me better or worse at what I do. So if someone had said, listen, you're going to see a lot of podcast producers, online and on their social media, because they're going to follow you, you're going to follow them as a matter of course, just ignore what they're doing, because there's days it's going to make you feel like you're doing the wrong things. That
is such good advice, because we have all got competitors. There's enough business for everyone. And what you're doing is completely unique. No one can do it like you're doing it. So, they're there, but don't pay them too much attention.
When I started out, I must have had a lot of time on my hands or something, because I literally put together a big red ring binder full with a page for each competitor.
Oh, that's funny.
And it was just like, competitive analysis gone crazy. It was just all of the local web designers making loads of notes and scribbling notes on it. And after I'd done it all, I never really looked at it again, to be honest. It sat on a shelf.
Was it a worthwhile exercise?
It was worthwhile to know who they were, just so you've got an idea of the market and how many people are in it, and that kind of stuff. And the names of people, so that when you cross paths with them, when you're out and about, you kind of know who they are, and you can kind of build some rapport or whatever.
But you didn't need a ring binder.
Didn't need a whole ring binder full of 100 pages of more than 100 pages of competitor notes for everything that they were doing, and now I kind of think, just how did I have the time for that, really? Try and do a bit of competitive analysis every now and then, and just look to see who's looking at my website and then follow them back. But that's kind of it.
It's useful to see how other people do things, though, isn't it? Because things do evolve over time, and it's good to see if somebody's introduced a new service or a new way of packaging up their
but
things.
You don't know if it's working.
No, that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
That's when you have to book a meeting with them. And
How are you getting on with that new product you've released? You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's something that you failed at? when it's come to your competitors, yeah, we've got the ring binder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose there's the kind of when you're pitching against competitors for the same piece of work. There's a project not that long ago that where the client was like, "Oh, can you just reduce the price a bit? You know, getting some quotes from some other people." And it's like, "Okay, we'll reduce the price a little bit." And then they eventually came back like, I forget exactly what they said, but it was along the lines of, "You came in the cheapest, but we're still going with the other ones." It's like, "What do you mean I came in the cheapest? You knocked like pounds off my price and still went with someone more expensive." So, you know, there's kind of those sorts of learning curves. It's kind of like, don't get drawn into that race to the bottom in a sense. So.
And sometimes you feel like people will choose to work with somebody based on price, but it can be any number of things. And one of the experiences I've had over the years, not just through my own business, but when I was working in other agencies, is that clients can choose to work with it, and they might put something out as a pitch to put it out to tender, but they've already decided who they're going to work with because it's their wife's company or something. And so you can be sat there agonising like, "Oh, I've been outperformed, they must be so much better than me," but that's not the case in most cases, in my experience.
No. I've made mistakes when it came to competitors, because in my early days I went to my competitors expecting them to, share with me, how they got their clients, and I cringe now thinking of it, because people do it to me now, expecting me to, "Oh, you've got to do this and you do this, and this is all free information." And whereas I will help people, but there's only so much that you ought to be sharing. But I did it in the early days, not really computing, what it means to run your own business. And it's about learning, isn't it? Making the mistakes, finding out what works and what doesn't. And
do you allow, because this was what I was just thinking of then, how do you allow your competitors to, say, follow you or connect with you on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? Because surely they're just there to check what you're putting out. That was my first take on it.
Yeah, I hope not, because I'm connected with loads of business coaches, and like I've said before, I just think we're all doing things very differently, and no one coaches also, like I do.
Yeah, and I think there's also that's the kind of the mental thing where you think, "Oh, if I link in with them and they're going to see all this stuff that I do and whatever it might be," but in truth, they haven't got time to do that. Really, they're the same as the rest of us. Their competitive analysis is probably as bad as ours. They just see like another company they know. They're like, "Well, we'll connect."
Binders everywhere.
Gathering dust on shelves across the country. Yeah.
I have just heard from a friend of mine who's in business that her website has been copied in its entirety, and she's just putting together a strongly worded email to her competitor. So it does happen. But I would hope that, a strongly worded email would get it shut down and that person just moves on, because there's no need to copy.
No.
It's going to be counterproductive.
No one's ever copied my website. Disappointed now.
I launched an online course a few weeks ago, and someone who signed on to take it's from a production company. And so they're an audio production company, and I think they are taking the course to then add it on as a service to what they do, because there's no other, looking at their website, they don't offer podcast production. It's not something they've even touched on. So I did think, okay, and again, I realise I'm coming across as this kind of crazy paranoid person now. That it is, that they've taken it just to kind of take all the knowledge that I've put in this course and go, okay, right, well, we'll take that, and now we know how to do it. Yeah. And exactly. It's a service. We'll offer it cheaper and we'll do it better. There you go. Thanks very much. So.
Well, I suppose you can never really avoid that, though, can you?
To be fair, I was quite flattered by it. Oh, okay, well, that's nice.
And nobody is ever going to be able to do it better than you, I think.
Nice.
I think that's really important, though. We are all really good at what we do.
Yeah.
So no one is going to be able to do it better or the way that you do it. So
yeah, and I've sometimes found as well, going back to the competitors reaching out to you on social, and I've had that before, and then it's been actually we've got quite a lot of client work on. Any chance we can pull resources and you can help collaborate on things, and that's happened before. But they go, what do they want? What are they connecting with me for? And, actually, that's quite nice. They can actually see that we're very capable and
well, actually, I worked with a business coach and still working with her now. I worked with her 3 years ago, and now I'm working for her and coaching her clients. So it's a brilliant outcome.
That could be an opportunity then, Pete, rather than those people getting in touch. Now you can follow them up and say, do you want me to run a course for you?
Yeah, it's true. Yes. What? You should be a business coach, Darren.
Well, I've been thinking about it.
No, there's not any room for you.
There's no competition in that field, so I'm going to do it.
I redact my comment of there's enough work for everyone. There isn't.
I know which website I'm copying.
So what should I have asked you about your competitors that I didn't?
Would you like less of them?
I'd like less of the fly-by-nights.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I would like less competitors. I like having
I think it's healthy to have it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It keeps you on your toes and keeps you on the top of your game, really, doesn't it? So it's healthy to have it, but I don't think you should be paranoid about them being there either. And quite often people are just wanting to maybe collaborate, or maybe we shouldn't call them competitors. Maybe we should think of another word, because I think it's also a bit. Yeah, maybe.
The enemy?
Them. Yeah.
The other people.
No, competition is definitely healthy, and that's what they always say, isn't it? And it is a case of, if there weren't competitors and still everybody needed your service and they can only come to you, it'd be nightmarish, wouldn't it, really?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be...
Kate,
you'd end up having to hire loads of people that are currently your competitors anyway, so it wouldn't make any sense.
Kate's right. Competitors are really good for keeping you on your toes. And it's important for us to think about it as consumers as well. We'd like to have lots of choice, and we'll choose the best place to spend our money, whether it's a bar, a bookstore. We go to the best place, and that's what we should be striving for as business owners, to be the best we can possibly be.
To choose the best. But then again, you have the kind of Coke and versus Pepsi competition, don't you, where you go to a restaurant. Test. Well, you go to a restaurant and they say, and ask for a Coke, and they say, well, we've only got Pepsi, is that all right? And you're like, yeah, that's fine.
We all do.
Yeah, but you're just making do. You want Coke, really.
Yeah, no, it's fine, we can say that. It's okay, because I like Pepsi. So,
Yeah. It's a bit like the Blockbusters and Netflix thing. They were sort of competing, and then Blockbusters didn't evolve to compete effectively with these online streaming services, and look what happened to them.
Well,
so it's looking. You do have to see what they're doing, and sometimes you have to evolve and adapt accordingly.
Absolutely. This is what's happening on our high street at the moment. The high street was too behind the online market, and they just got too far behind, and now this is what's happened. So it's good for us. So is that what you're taking away from our conversation today? The competitors are good because they keep us on our toes and keep us,
Yeah, I think I should probably pay a little bit more attention to them, because I know we started this with me saying I just don't pay that much attention to them because, yes, I do know them, but maybe I should, and just see what they're doing, and just... And in some way that helps me reinforce what I'm providing is the best service.
Yeah,
observe it, but don't obsess about it.
Yes. That's absolutely the thing I should be taking away.
Yeah, focus on your own game. Just focus on being the best you can be, and your competitors just doesn't matter.
Very good. Do that then.
Yeah. Just do that. Put it on a t-shirt. Put it on a fridge magnet. We're away.
Yeah. It's quite a big t-shirt, though, isn't it?
Do for me.
Okay, guys, that's been really interesting. Thanks for sharing your views on competitors. And I'd love to reach out to our listeners. If you would agree or disagree on what we've said about competitors, or you have some funny or interesting stories to share, please share them. We'd love to hear from you. And if you've enjoyed the podcast, then please rate and review us. But be kind.